Welcome to the quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Brock Armstrong, and I'm the Get Fit Guy. When I meet people for the first time and answer that "what do you do?" question with "I'm a health and fitness coach," people often get a panicked look in their eye, and then they blurt out something like, "I would love to run a marathon, but I have bad knees," or "I used to belong to a gym, but it got too expensive." It's as if they think that I'm silently judging them, or that I'm about to launch into a sales pitch and they need to stop me before I pull my business cards out. Whatever their motivation, they all seem to have an excuse. Some of them more than one. So, as a way of putting all my rebuttals into one location for posterity, and also for future reference, here is a list of my favorite excuses not to exercise and my response to each. Perhaps you can use these on your less than active friends, or perhaps even on yourself. All right, number one on our list is I'm too busy. Yes, I get that you're busy. We all have too much on our plate. It's even a badge of honor in many circles to be too busy to sleep. And you know what? I don't pretend to be the busiest person in the world, and even I've used this excuse. But I bet if you were to track exactly how you use every minute of your day, you could find a spare 20 minutes, or probably more. There are some studies out there that show that we check our smartphones 105 times per day. Apple recently confirmed that its users alone unlock their phones an average of 80 times per day. Now, if we have time to check our phones every 6 minutes, surely we can get up and break a sweat occasionally too, right? It simply means that we have to prioritize exercise. When you say that you're too busy to exercise, what you're really saying is, I don't put a priority on my health. All right, our second excuse is it's too expensive. Well, if you are someone who thinks that the only way you can get fit is to join an expensive gym, buy a bunch of fancy equipment, and hire a personal trainer, well, then you haven't been paying attention. There are heaps of articles in the Get Fit Guy catalog explaining that all you truly need is your body and some inspiration. And perhaps an old pair of shorts. You know, when I was a poor student, I used to go for a run in some old Chuck Taylors that I picked up at a garage sale, a pair of Bermuda shorts that my mom bought me, and any ratty old t-shirt that I found in my laundry pile. It wasn't pretty, but I got the job done, and it was pretty much free. Our third excuse is, I'm too tired. It's like that old saying goes, you have to spend money to make money. Well, having energy to work out can be viewed in the same way. You have to use energy to make energy. And there are two benefits that exercise can bestow on your energy levels. First, exercise boosts your body's fitness level, and second, it also boosts your mood, both of which can contribute to an overall boost in energy levels. In a study at the University of Georgia, researchers looked at whether exercise can be used to treat fatigue. They had 36 volunteers, all of whom were not regular exercisers, and complained of persistent fatigue, perform either 20 minutes of moderate intensity or low intensity aerobic activity 3 times per week for 6 weeks. There was also a third control group that did not exercise at all. In the end, both of the exercise groups had a 65% increase in energy levels compared to the control group. And did you notice that there wasn't even a high-intensity group? Once again, going for a brisk walk is often all it takes. Our fourth excuse is, I'm in pain. Okay, this excuse does have some merit if you are legitimately injured or dealing with some chronic pain. There are some pains that you just don't want to push through. This coach, and I mean me, does not believe in the no pain, no gain philosophy. But I do believe that most injuries can be managed appropriately with some workout modifications or some specific movement adaptations, or by simply choosing a different mode of exercise. If you're dealing with chronic pain, well, you may want to consider the possibility that your current inactive lifestyle is actually the main thing that is contributing to, or perhaps even causing, the chronic pain. A 2008 study showed that in individuals who exercised more than 3 times per week, chronic musculoskeletal pain was 28% less common when compared to inactive individuals. All right, our fifth excuse is, I move enough already. This was my excuse for a while too. I worked in an old building with many floors, very few washrooms, and only one extremely slow elevator. Now, I like to keep myself pretty well hydrated, so you can see where I'm going with this. I hear this excuse from new parents and also people who work in the service industry as well. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have an active job or lifestyle that keeps you on your feet, well, then you're doing better than a lot of people out there. But there is still something that is mentally and emotionally rewarding about focusing on your body through your own dedicated workout and not simply getting your movement as a byproduct of having hyper kids, a slave driver boss, or having to take 4 flights of stairs every time you need to pee. And number 6 on the list is, I already did my 10,000 steps. Let me say it right now. I am not a fan of the 10,000 steps craze. First, there is nothing magic about the number 10,000, except that it roughly approximates 150 minutes of physical activity per week that your doctor hounds you about. And second, having that finite 10,000 step goal, well, it often gives us a reason to check exercise off our to-do list and hit the couch, even if we still have a spring in our step and a smile on our face. Now, if a step counter helps you stay motivated or leads you to be more consistent with your movement practice, well, that's great. But don't let it limit you. If 10,000 steps has been your daily average for a while now, it's at least time to increase that step target, and increasing by 10% each week is a good goal. Or, better yet, look for other ways to be a mobile citizen. Our 7th excuse is, I don't enjoy exercising. You know, at the heart of so many of these excuses that we've talked about today is the opinion that exercise isn't fun. It's boring. It's uncomfortable. It feels like punishment. Well, you know what I say to that? Are you sure you've tried it all? Believe me, I tried a variety of activities and sports before I found something that really fit for me too. It took me a while to figure it out, and like an ever-moving target, it keeps changing. For a while, I loved running. Then I rediscovered playing hockey. Then I did nothing but triathlon. Then you couldn't keep me out of the pool, and then I did some obstacle courses, and now I'm addicted to lifting heavy stuff. All the while, I stood at my desk, walked or rode my bike to work, and carried my groceries in a backpack. You know, there are so many options to choose from. Don't let your preconceived notions of how boring it is to pump iron or how strange you'll feel taking a yoga class stop you from digging into an evening frisbee game, a lunch hour Zumba class, an evening LARP, which is a live-action role-playing game, or try some parkour, aerial yoga, gardening, booty ballet. I mean, you can volunteer to babysit your friend's 9-year-old. Learn to juggle, try some urban hiking, do some speed errands, which apparently is a thing, or good old Dance Dance Revolution. The list is literally endless. All right, back to our list with number 8, I'm too old. As I examined in a recent article on the benefits of lifting heavy things, no one is too old to exercise. Now, depending on your age, your mobility, and your health, you may have to consult an expert first, but as we just covered, there are so many forms of exercise to choose from, ranging from low impact to high intensity, to purely mobility, to balance, all the way to strength training. There are even some classes that are specifically designed for kids or seniors that you can enroll in to get some expert help and guidance. A great place to start looking for classes that fit your age and ability is your local YMCA or city-run fitness center. And our number 9 excuse is, I have a bad back, or I have bad knees. This is a tricky one, but unless your doctor actually tells you to just lay in bed, which I haven't heard since the 90s, then engaging in activity is very often the best way to keep your back or your knees limber, strong, and pain-free. Dr. Ulrich, an orthopedic spine surgeon and medical director of Spine Health, says, bed rest for more than a day or two can actually undermine healing. And that was in reference to some pretty extreme cases. When done correctly, exercises for relieving back or knee pain can do things like strengthen the muscles that support the painful area, or alleviate stiffness and improve mobility, or improve circulation to the area. It can also release endorphins, which naturally relieve pain, and it can minimize the frequency of those painful episodes. All right, we're coming into the home stretch with excuse number 10, I am too fat. A study in the year 2000 sought to pinpoint perceptions of being too fat as a barrier to physical activity. It categorized the results by gender and body mass. For the study, 2,298 average Australians were surveyed, and researchers found that 44% of respondents reported that being too fat was a barrier to physical activity. They also found that it was more common among women, 6.2%, and among the obese, which was 22.6%. Now, I bring this study up to reassure you that you're not alone. But I'm also here to tell you that no matter what number you see on the scale, you can do something today to begin the process of improving your health. Please, don't fall into the trap of believing that exercise may be dangerous for you because you think it has to hurt or make you sweaty and out of breath to be effective. Beginning an exercise program is often a matter of simply moving more. It doesn't need to be a difficult class at the gym or excessive time spent lifting weights. Start small and work your way up to more intensity and volume in activity, but only do so when you are ready, mentally and physically. And our final excuse, I'm already skinny. Okay, folks. As a general rule, we really have to stop confusing and melding exercise into one lump with weight loss. They are not intrinsically linked. There are so many health and wellness benefits that we get from exercise that I'll list in a minute, and weight loss is only one, and honestly, it is the smallest one as well. Most weight loss experts will tell you that results are 80% from diet and only 20% from exercise. Yes, lean mass is usually associated with better health, but it is not an indicator of your organ health, lipid levels, or insulin sensitivity. Exercising is not just a means to keep your weight down, so let's draw a clearer distinction between weight loss and fitness. Weight loss is often just a number, and fitness is a process that benefits our entire body and mind. All right, no more excuses. The body is a complex thing, and a lot, and I do mean a lot, happens inside your body when you exercise. So let's start with the changes in your muscles. Now, your muscles use glucose and a thing called ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, to contract and move. To create more ATP, your body needs to grab more oxygen, so your breathing increases and your heart starts to pump more blood to your muscles. Then, as you work out, tiny tears in your muscles occur, and that makes them grow bigger and stronger when those tiny tears heal between your exercise sessions. There are also changes in your lungs as your muscles call for all that extra oxygen, 15 times more oxygen sometimes, and your breathing rate increases. Now, once the muscles surrounding your lungs can't move any faster, well, you've reached what's called your VO2 max, which is your maximum capacity for oxygen use. And in a nutshell, the higher your VO2 max, the more badass you are. A high VO2 max is actually one of the things that Lance Armstrong, no relation, was known for before, well, he got known for that other thing. There are also changes in your heart. Your heart rate naturally increases with increased physical effort, so it can supply more of that oxygenated blood to your muscles. The fitter you are, the more efficiently your heart can pump, both in volume and frequency, which allows you to go harder and longer. A little side benefit, your blood pressure will decrease as a result of this efficiency and some new blood vessels forming. Then there is some fun stuff that happens in your brain, which I outlined in an article called How Exercise Affects Your Brain, where we learned that being sedentary all day, every day is as dangerous to your waistline as it is to your mind. A number of very cool neurotransmitters are triggered: endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, glutamate, and GABA. Now, you may recognize these names because some of them are well known for their role in mood control, and they explain why exercise can be one of the most effective preventions and treatments for sleep disorders, anxiety, and depression. There are also changes that happen in your joints and your bones, since exercise can place as much as 6 times your body weight on them. In a vast oversimplification, when you are young, your bones are dense, but actually somewhat porous and soft. As you age, your bones can easily become less dense and more brittle, especially if you remain or become inactive. And finally, one of the key health benefits of exercise for many people is how it helps normalize your glucose, insulin, and leptin levels by optimizing insulin and leptin receptor sensitivity. This is perhaps the most important factor for optimizing your overall health and preventing a plethora of chronic diseases. While we all know that staying physically active is essential for a long, healthy, and productive life, well, we don't often make time for it, or we actively find excuses to avoid it. And you know what? I think that's because we don't understand exactly what's happening behind the scenes. So hopefully this list of excuses and my rebuttals will give you a better understanding of the whys, the hows, and even the whens of exercise that will serve as some motivation for you when you find yourself about to say something like, "I would go for a swim, but I don't like the marks my goggles leave on my face." For more excuse info, motivational tips, or to join in the rebuttals, head over to facebook.com/getfitguy or twitter.com/getfitguy or getfitguy.quickanddirtytips.com. And don't forget to leave a review or a rating over at Apple Podcasts. It really helps me out when you do that. Now, my name is Brock Armstrong, and I'm the Get Fit Guy, asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.